Hi, and welcome to the R2RB Indie Artist Podcast Series. And today I have with me Seems Like Tuesday band members Erica and Steve. And you can find them anywhere from Delaware, Philly, and New Jersey. Thank you for joining me today. How are you both?
We are good.
We're doing well.
As we were just discussing, we're exhausted.
Yeah. My allergies are killing me and I'm overworked.
Oh my God, these allergies have been horrible.
It's bad. We actually just played a gig recently outside. We had, what was it? The Makers Market in Chatsworth, New Jersey. Literally, it turned out to be a great day, right? It was supposed to rain. He would hit his snare and you would see the dust.
Awful.
Green and yellow. It was all over.
It was all over my gear when I came home. There was stuff like, because I was sweating, obviously. There was like green stuff like on the hairs of my arm. I looked like the Incredible Hulk when I came home.
It's terrible.
It was really bad where we were. We were getting killed. But we had a great show. But
it was a good show.
Oh, good. Yeah. Well, quick story about my allergies, because I was away up in Connecticut for 2 weeks. And before I left, I wasn't feeling so great, but I muddled through and got through because I was seeing my grandkids and everything. When I got back home 2 weeks later, it's like, I'm just going to stop in the walk-in because like I'm out of breath and I'm just not feeling it. And I never really got sick. Well, I walked across their parking lot into their waiting room, and it's like I couldn't breathe. Oh yeah, it's your allergies. So we're going to give you an inhaler and medicine and allergy medicine.
Yeah.
It's terrible this year. I've never had it this bad.
It's so funny because we just had a radio interview too, and we talked about the same thing. He's like, I can't even breathe. I'm struggling. Like that's how we started the conversation.
Yeah, he sounded like he was like gargling with like rocks.
Yeah,
his voice was shot.
It's true. I sympathize with you guys.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh my gosh. All right. I feel like we got us warmed up, but I love asking two questions. If you could have one superpower, which one would you want and why?
God, I think about this all the time. As pathetic as that sounds, I would probably want to be invisible. Like I would probably want to try to like at some certain part of the day, right? Or if it's a busy week and I'm traveling so much and then I come home and it's just a mess with the kids, right? We have 5 kids, blended family.
Gosh.
So I'm like, yeah, okay, I'm going to hit that button and I'm just going to go away for like an hour.
Yeah. What was the original actor who played
the Invisible Man?
Claude Rains. That was his name. That's who you want to be.
Yeah, that's who I want to.
I get you. I totally get you.
I guess I would want to fly. I
Okay.
think. Just so I can have like a bird's eye view of everything and kind of be up there in the peacefulness with the clouds and be chilling, doing my own thing. I think that would be cool to be able to do that.
And above the pollen.
Yeah, above the pollen line for sure.
But then you might collide with a plane, a helicopter.
Yeah.
Well, there's risks in superpowers
I'm like
too.
Debbie Downer. Sorry.
We'll give you radar.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll keep you safe. Oh my gosh. How about where's one place in the world you would like to visit?
Oh God, I'm going first on this one.
Okay.
Italy is literally on my bucket list because that's our heritage and the food, just the scenery that I want to go there so bad. We're going to get there soon.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind going there either.
Yeah.
I think I always wanted to go to the Grand Canyon.
Oh yeah.
I just always thought that would be a cool trip to go there. But I'll take Italy because, again, we're Italian and that's my heritage.
Yeah,
sure.
Kind of go on a boat and see where, my great-great-grandfather was or whatever. That'd be kind of cool.
Oh, yeah. Agreed. Definitely. Both places. Agreed. I like them. All right. So Seems Like Tuesday is the name of the band. What's the story behind the name?
that's all you.
That's me. I usually answer this one, so I'm well-versed in this answer. We practice on Tuesday nights, and it seemed like when everything that we were trying to do, book a studio session, photography, a photo session, anything like that, was always wound up being on Tuesday. So when we were looking for a band, I'm like, we wanted something that obviously wasn't taken. We wanted something that we could kind of abbreviate. So it could be like SLT, and we could make it like big on like a marquee. And we didn't want anything to put us in one category as like, that's our genre of music.
There you go. Yeah.
So we could kind of do anything with that name. And nobody had it, which was really important.
Right.
If you go on YouTube or you go on Google and you hit us, we come
That's
right
it.
up.
Yeah.
So I think it was more derived from not being typecast by a certain name that would make you be like a heavier band or a country band or something. I just wanted to be able to do whatever we wanted to do. And again, nobody had it. And it was kind of unanimous. I just said it one day. I was like, how about Seems Like Tuesday? And they were like, all right. And we just kind of went with it. And then, once we got the logo back from our artist, we were like, oh, yeah, it's sold now.
Cool.
It looked cool.
Yeah. And I agree with, being the non-genre and being able to do, I think that's what being an indie artist kind of is all about, right? Do your thing.
Yeah, I think, if you have I always use this example, but if your band's name is called Megadeth or something like that, obviously that's a heavy band.
Right.
And
exactly.
we didn't want to be typecast into any sort of thing, and we're not a heavy band. So we wanted to kind of be able to bob and weave in and out of styles, and we have a rock edge, but we're not a heavy metal band per se.
Right. Oh, okay. Absolutely. I like that. So you've been nominated for awards. You have a new one. You've been nominated recently.
Yeah, so we actually won the World Songwriting Award for Wasted Summer. God, when was Wasted Summer released? We released so much that
towards the ending of last summer.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Probably like August or September.
Wow, almost a year.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Oh, congratulations. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. So Seems Like Tuesday has been together since 2022. Erica, you do the vocals and percussion. Steve, you are the drummer. So who else is in the band, and how did you all meet?
Yeah, so we have Chip Michael on bass. We have Pete McGregor on guitar. We have Billy Zioli on vocals and guitar. We all sing. Chip, Pete, myself, Steve, Billy. He does a mean foxy lady.
Oh, cool. There you go.
Don't be fooled. The cool thing is that Steve, Chip, Pete and Billy, they've all kind of played on the same scene.
Okay.
Way back when, in the original scene. So same circuit, same clubs. We just came together that way. He made a couple calls and.
Yeah, we were looking for people. I think, we decided we were in a cover band at the time, and we decided, look, the schedule is just getting too much for us. And, it's kind of, you lose your soul playing a lot of covers. Sometimes you just play the same songs, and whatever the flavor of the week is, you got to learn that and play that. So after a while, we were in it for a long time, about 10 years or so, right?
I was in it for 18.
Yeah. So since she was a teenager. So we just decided to do something original. And the first thing I did was, I said, all right, I got to get quality people. That was the first thing.
Absolutely.
Right off the bat. I didn't want no drama. I didn't want no drugs. I didn't want no, we call it LSD, which is lead singer disease. The pompous kind of, we didn't want none of that kind of stuff. So we wanted to get good quality people first. And then geographically, is it going to work? Are we going to be able to have practice on the same nights? And are you going to be able to get to my house on a Tuesday, for instance, or stuff like that? So I think we really found a good quality group of people, and then we all bought into the system. That's another thing, is everybody want to play music. Can people write originals? Can they get along? You have two guitar players. Who's going to play the solo? Is the other guy going to get mad? We have a bunch of people who sing. Is she going to let the other guy sing a song without all that? And pretty much all them problems were never a problem.
Wow.
So it was great. Like nobody.
That's amazing.
Yeah, nobody ever has a problem with anybody else taking the limelight, which is great.
Well, I think too, because not to cut you off, but we've all been at this a long time. And by the way, when I said 18 years in the cover band, you're like, yeah, she was a teenager. Thank you for making me younger than I really am. I appreciate it. You know, I was loving that. Just had to mention that. We're all seasoned, right? And we've all have been doing this for so long that it's actually enjoyable. It's fun. And another thing, I make the Divas playlist a lot. I am by no means a diva at all. I am literally like one of the guys.
One of the guys.
Yeah. Honestly.
Yeah, I would say, well, she's my wife, my best friend, and all that stuff. But honestly, you probably are the easiest person, lead singer wise, I've ever dealt with. There's no.
Yeah, and you talk about being seasoned, but I know there's bands out there that they're seasoned and they still have drama. So, whatever, right? So whatever you have done to really take the time to find the right people and the right fit, and that it all balances for you, is extraordinary.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, everybody wants the best quality of the song, and everybody wants everybody to be happy. There's a give and take. I mean, we don't all agree on anything, but we have a majority rules. Somebody really, like, I'll send something out, for instance, and I'll be like, all right, we're going to use this as the flyer. If anybody hates this picture, let me know. If it's something you can deal with, roll with it, because I don't feel like doing it again.
Right.
So if somebody calls up and says, yo, I look terrible in that, I don't want to use it, and they're still outvoted 4-1, I won't do that. But you got to be really passionate about hating it too. Right. It can't be all the time.
No.
I might have not noticed your eyes was closed. Your eyes were closed, or something like that. We really try to just work as friends first, and then, and this is the music business. There's a business angle to it too.
Sure, of course.
You all got to agree on. There's money to be divided and all that kind of stuff too. So
that just comes through with your music and what you have out there. I mean, you can see that you do balance each other. You can see that you're all passionate about it. I mean, your videos, which we'll talk about in a minute, are just absolutely amazing. So again, and it's a business, but it's also that passion. It's who you are and what drives all of you. And if all of you can be driven in the same direction without having drama, that's the best way to go. And again, you can see it in your finished product.
Well, thank you. I mean, we were very hard at what we do. So
yeah, absolutely.
Comes across that way, and we look genuine is because we are. So that's great.
That's it. Exactly. So let's get talking about some of your songs and videos and your newest release, Drowning. So, and along with the single, you also have a music video. Let me tell you. I was like, I watched it all. I was like, shoot, let's play that again.
Yeah, that is actually, I mean, I love them all, right? We put, again, like Steve said, we put so much into it. Schedules, who's available, the whole day on a Saturday. Yeah. There's a lot that goes in, but the song itself has like that spooky element, right? By the way, we actually did not write that. We actually had somebody bring that to us, one of our fellow musicians, on the original scene. And obviously we made it our own and what it is, but he had this vision the entire time. We have to make it eerie and, maybe vampires, or because it just matched the song. And then the place that we went to was actually a friend of our photographer and videographer. And that looked very spooky too.
It did.
So it kind of and it was a dreary day. We thought it was going to rain. I'm like, this is friggin' perfect. I mean, besides the vampires coming out during the day, it all matched up.
All the elements were there, and I was so taken and fascinated in the beginning watching, walking into I don't know where the heck you're all walking into. It was like, oh, and then the scene unfolds, and at that end, so go ahead, tell the rest.
Yeah, and then my kids, it was funny. They're like, "Why are you wearing a cape? You look like Little Red Riding Hood." I'm like, "Did you watch the whole thing? Because you won't get it unless you watch the whole thing."
That was one of the major things going in. The guy that did it was this guy named Steve Parks. He does our photography and stuff. So we got him into doing the videos with us. And I called him on the phone. I says, look, a lot of attention spans are gone within you're lucky to hold somebody a minute. You're lucky. Even visually, you're lucky. So I says, we got to make it that people don't know what's going on here. Got to have the suspense at the end. And that was all calculated on what's going on here and what's happening. And then it all kind of unfolds at the end, what's going on. You know, it's a fine line when you do something like horror like that, because it could be really corny, really quick. And I was adamant about not making it like to where it could be like a spoof. It would be serious. A lot of our songs are happy or upbeat or pop. And this is the one that's going to be set up on our EP that we're about to release, like probably like mid. We have 8 songs. It'll be like, fourth or fifth. And it really just takes the EP left.
Different level.
So we could come back. It's another corridor to walk down, and that's what we did with the video too. We wanted it to be really different than everything else we put out. And we wanted to keep your attention span guessing until the very end. And then, like you said, you usually 9 times out of 10 people are like, I had watched it twice. So that's great in itself because you're going to rewind it and you're going to see things you didn't see. And then now that you know the story, you're going to look at the clues and all that. So it's very, what's that? Albert Hitchcock like, where you'll start figuring things out. But we literally wrote that whole thing out, like what we were going to do. Girl enters the room and that on the second line of the third verse or whatever. So it was all very calculated and we shot that all in about 2.5 hours.
A little closer to 4.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, time flies. But, it was in one day. And then we edited it and we put it out. So we were lucky enough that the guy let us use his house. Hugh, if you're watching, thank you. and it all came together.
So cool. I mean, again, like I said, I watched the video and I'm like, oh, okay. And okay. And and then at the end, it's like, oh.
Yeah.
And then you got to go back and then watch it again because then it's a whole different scene.
Yes. Agreed.
And somewhere in there, hopefully the song's catching you to where you're like, you start bobbing and weaving to it. So it's all an experience, which we tried to take the viewer and the listener through in less than 3.5 minutes there.
Yeah.
So the house that you were in, Hugh's house that you were in, has he ever had paranormal activity in his house?
No, he's actually a brilliant artist. He actually is one of the few people we know that actually makes a living doing something. He does like old memorials and all kinds of stuff. And he's a collector. So like I'll tell you a funny story. We're bringing in people now. Really, the only guy that knows him is our photographer. I go up, I introduce myself. I'm like, thanks for letting us use your place. We'll be respectful. Ain't gonna be nobody doing anything stupid in here, whatever. He's like, just be real careful of everything. So I start looking at like a piece of, I don't know what would you call that? Like a vase or whatever.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, well, everything in here is just really expensive. Just be careful. I'm like, dude, we're cool. We break anything, we'll buy it. He's like, I don't know if you can buy that. And I'm like, how much is that? He's like, well, that's a $5,000 vase that was King Tut the Third nephews or whatever. Crazy stuff like that. Like a ceramic banana from like, the 1800s that
That's cool.
Elizabeth had. And so it was like this really crazy collective kind of, stuff everywhere, but it was clean. It was crazy. It was like all this kind of crazy stuff, like almost like, I don't want to say hoarder because that's bad to say that, but not like that. More like a collector home.
Collector.
But everything was clean. It was crazy. There was stuff everywhere. Deb, I put my phone down like 3 times. I lost it all 3 times. I don't know where I was in the house. And there was always like crazy, just different rooms and Halloween in one room. And then like, felt like you were like in the
like one of the rooms we were in had dolls in it. And so to answer your original question, there probably is some type of activity.
We just didn't know. We didn't ask, and we don't
ask.
So I just looked and turned my head because I am very like with dolls.
Dolls can be a little out there.
So, but it was cool though. Like he said, very clean and
and the guy's super cool to let us all use that.
Yeah,
like
that is.
Friend, I send him texts and we talk, and so he was really cool about everything. And plus, we respected his home. Nobody brung dirt in the house on their feet, or broke anything, or clogged the toilet, or anything like that. All these things matter.
It does, absolutely. We laugh, but it's true. You speak the truth.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I love it. I couldn't wait to find out about the video and the song itself. A great project. So you guys are relatively new, as I said earlier. Are you happy with where you are now with the band? I think tell me if I'm wrong, but you guys just really seem to, again, I'll repeat, interact well, you perform together, your creativity comes out in your projects. And are you where you thought you would want it to be at this time?
I could speak for myself. I am very happy with what we've done so far. I'm happy that just gigs alone from where we started as an original band 3 years ago to where we are now, like playing casinos and really popular festivals that draw thousands and thousands of people.
Yeah.
I'm happy with that. I would say where I would want to go next would be to get one of our singles in a series or a movie, something along.
Oh, yeah. Do you agree, Steve?
Yeah, well, I've been up and down in this business. I had a record deal when I was like 19 years old.
Oh, wow.
And then I came right out of high school, and then I was like, I'm going to be rich and famous. And we were doing the hair metal thing, and then that went out of style, and all the bands got dropped. And I
Yeah.
kind of fought back and forth and had a couple spec deals, and it looked like we were going to go somewhere, and then that fell apart. So it's, I've been through the gamut of getting, beat up pretty good in the business. Yeah, when we went into this, it wasn't like, we're gonna be rock stars, and in the video we're gonna have a cannon, shootout, fire, and it wasn't like that. We were like, look, let's just get together, be creative as possible, let's put out the best music we can. If something advances, then great. I don't think anybody wants to tough it out in a van and tour and
Hard work.
do something like that. We much rather, as she said, get our song into like a commercial or, that's wishful thinking, but that's more where this band is geared towards. To just drop everything and run for a little bit, that'd be really hard to do. We all have this band, everybody in this band has a career job.
Right.
Nobody's working at like Target. Everybody's like a boss or our bass player is a building inspector. Yeah.
It's a lot.
It's like has like real jobs.
Yeah,
And,
absolutely.
you need 401k, you need medical insurance, and you got to be realistic at this stage of life.
Absolutely.
If something breaks and it looks like it's worth doing, then we'll do it. But I think we're just into putting out quality stuff, playing the right gigs, staying afloat, not going too far in the red as far as cash, and making great contacts with like people like you, and just making new friends, and just try to throw it up against the wall. And if it sticks, then great. If it doesn't, then we left some sort of legacy behind.
Absolutely. And so speaking of, music is full time, and you do both have full time jobs as well as the other band members. How do you balance? Because I know Erica, she's traveling, you're full time with what you do, and then you have a family to take care of. How do you balance that? Do you really mark time on the calendar to take time for yourselves?
When we can. Our time to ourselves is really like driving to a gig, going to pick up a kid. And I can't really say that though, because we're going away next weekend, right? Like just the two of us.
You sound like a liar.
For 2 nights.
Whoa.
But it is difficult.
Yeah.
It's difficult. I'm probably away myself like every other week. So it's hard.
Yeah.
It is hard. But the plus is, like he was talking about the cover band. It's not where this is super demanding, where we have to be here at 5 o'clock for a cocktail hour for a wedding. We were playing 8 times a month with the cover band. So this, we are able to really choose.
A little more flexibility.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So if we want to play twice a month, great. And that's set in stone, and it is what it is. We won't take anything else. If we want to play 3 to 4 times a month and something great comes our way, we're going to take it.
Awesome.
But I think it's a little
I think also too, when you're in a relationship with somebody like I'm lucky enough to have my wife as the singer of the band, it's something we do together.
Right. Yeah.
When you're in a relationship with somebody and you're in the band and they're not, there's a little bit of a level of resentment.
I can imagine. Yeah. Yeah.
Let me get this straight. You go on at midnight. You didn't come home until 4 o'clock in the morning. What were you doing? Who were you with? Where did you go? Why are you hanging out with him? He's trouble. Whatever. Right?
Yeah.
This way, she knows what I'm doing. I know what she's doing. None of that's a problem. We kind of go and we come together, and she knows who I know, and I know who she knows, and we give each other flexibility, but there's a level of respect because your partner's right behind you. So
right.
she's the singer of the band. People are always going to flirt with her.
Right.
So, I let her do her thing until it gets out of control, and then I'll go over and introduce myself and be like, all right, dude, you keep it moving now, So it's something we do together. And I think that's a lot, more healthier than when you're with somebody who isn't your play. Because, as I said, the resentment builds up. It's not.
Absolutely. And you're also thinking about time together, taking care of, self-care, which is very important. So you do think about that because a lot of people don't. And it's important.
It is.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes I got to cut you off, Deb. Sometimes, all right, are we done now with the band stuff? Because I got to tell you about what happened at the washer this morning. The spin cycle stopped working. Tori's clothes were in there, and then you go down and you go right back into life again. You know what I mean?
It's true. You got to separate sometimes.
You do. It's important.
But you seem to have a good balance, even with to the two of you and then the whole band. So kudos to you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Annie and Freddie, which came out in February. Do you all do songwriting? Do you all collaborate?
Yeah, I would say the majority of the songs that come in are from Billy and Pete.
Okay.
They'll either bring us a full song and we'll arrange it our way and do our thing and put a twist on it. A song maybe they wrote years ago that we're going to incorporate and do the same thing, turn it upside down and kind of figure out what we could do different. Or they'll start something from the beginning and maybe I'll finish writing it, or it's a little bit of everyone.
Nobody comes in with a complete song is like, I want this drum beat and I want you to hit this cymbal there. It's not like that at all. Somebody will come in with basic,
ideas,
skeleton of a song, and then we'll all put our thing to it. But nobody's Gestapo telling everybody exactly what to play. Billy brings in a ton of ideas. He's a machine as a songwriter. Pete's a really good writer too. And as you said, with Drowning, that was our friend. He called me up on a Sunday morning and he's like, dude, I got this song and I hear Erica singing it. He sends it to me through Messenger on Facebook. It's him with an acoustic stripped down. Took it to band practice. We arranged it, did all these kind of things to it. And then, obviously, you record it, you mix it, you master it. We did a video, and I sent it to him. He's like, wow, dude, like, you did all that to what I gave you. I'm like, yeah. I think our biggest problem is we don't have enough time to write, because if we did, we'd have, like, double records worth of stuff.
Right.
We're going to have to play. We have a problem like, okay, we're going to need 350s as far as sets, and we're going to have to incorporate some covers because we're playing a casino, and they don't know your song. So then we started learning a lot more covers just to fill up a night.
Right, to balance it out.
Yeah, I think if we could just be an original band and we were just focused on that and we had a little bit more time to ourselves, we can really pump out a lot of material. But the way the business is and if you want to play and you want to make money, you want to play places with stages and lights and stuff like that, and they feed you, you're going to need to play some covers. So we didn't want to do that, but that's what we're doing because that's the name of the game and that's all it's all you can do around here. Where we're from, you have to do that. So, but yeah, as far as answering your question, I think songs come from anywhere we can pull them out. There's no rhyme or reason. There's no one way of doing things. Whatever works. We just try to bring everything in and we just like to put our SLT signature on it. And as long as it kind of blends into what we're doing, great. If a guy comes in with a thrash song, we're not going to play that, but everybody knows better. That's the other thing. I think the band is kind of all along that same path, bands we like and bands we listen to. And so we're lucky in that avenue too. We don't got one guy that's coming in. He's like, it's got to be heavier. We never say that. We're like, what's best? Right. Eric will sound better if we jump that key. Let's jump the key. Whatever. And
so Annie and Freddie, is that how that came about? Was it a collaboration or?
Pete came in with that pretty much with everything. And then we just SLT'd it. I think we wrote the ending or how the beginning was going to come in. And, you might want to shorten the verse there or something like that. But the major bare bones of that tune definitely came in from him.
And what's their story?
Oh, that's your
call. Yeah, they're the power couple. They're like us. Yeah. Pretty much they could handle anything. They're, proud of who they are as a couple. And that's pretty much what that's
but
about.
More or less like a couple against the world. When you're with somebody, you know how you go through every kind of problem there is. You go through births, deaths, dying, whatever. You start to go through everything. Yeah. And they're just fighting against every obstacle that the world's throwing against them. And they're coming out and they're still together and they're still strong and not they ain't getting kicked around but they're fighting back and
Right.
they're a true team. That's pretty much what that song's about.
So you have your song and you've got that all together, and then you want to do the video. So again, it's a collaboration of what you want to do, how you want to do it.
Well, I think with that one, we knew that drowning was going to be next.
Okay.
So we knew we were going to have a concept to that one. So with Annie and Freddie, we basically said, why don't we just go into the studio and we'll just record us making the song. We basically went into the studio, and what you're seeing on the video is us actually recording the song.
Yeah.
So it's just bare bones. When she's singing, that's her really singing. And we just went to where we do our records at, this Wombat Studio org, to give Dave a plug there. And we just said, look, man, we're going to bring a photographer down here, a video guy too, and we're just going to do stuff. And he's like, all right, cool, dude, whatever. Mi casa, su casa. And we went and did it in his house. Again, we didn't clog the toilet. We didn't do anything stupid. And he was cool with the whole idea. So that's
why you keep getting invited back.
That's right.
That's right. It's all about the toilet. But that was the idea behind that one, just to go right in and just belt something out right away, because we knew the next one was going to be, the concept, and it was going to be the story, and we were going to have other people. We had, the two other girls with Erica. So we knew that was going to be a little bit more of a labor, where that one was just like, all right, let's go down on Tuesday night. We'll play the song. We record it, bang, we'll put it out, and we'll move to the next. So there wasn't really much thought process behind that. It's just to get everybody on the screen, just follow the tune. I mean, that was the biggest thing.
That was cool. No, that was a good video as well. It's like, oh, okay.
Yeah, and you know what? You did very well. You were successful, because people would reach out to me and be like, "What's up with the video? Like, you guys didn't do anything else?" And I'm like, "There's a reason why."
Right, we're setting up.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So it worked.
It did. Absolutely. Yeah, you guys work really well.
Yeah, guess what? I'm going to give you
There you go.
a plug.
Let me get my ego hat on.
He is very creative. He comes up with a lot of the concepts and the ideas. He does all of our social media. I just don't even know how he does it. Well, I mean, I do know, because I used to do it and you took it off me.
It's a lot.
Yeah, he does all of that. So sometimes he's up till like 2 a.m. thinking, when the wheels are spinning, right? Like, so it's a good thing though, because he's very dedicated and committed.
Yeah, I try not to spell any words wrong or cut people's head off in pictures and all the little details that mean something. I
mean, we're laughing, but it does. I mean, it does.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, do you ever see, like, if I'm on your interview, right? I'm actually hunched over in this chair, so you see my head. What if the whole video is like this? And I'm like, that's great. Well, it wouldn't be cool, right?
No.
Yeah, for the whole rest of the video. There you go.
How long have you two been together?
Oh God, it's been a while.
Long time.
Good.
Yeah. We ain't married though.
No, it'll be 3 years. Yeah.
It's working. Whatever you guys are doing, it's working.
Well, I can still make her smile. That's half of the battle, right?
Right. Absolutely. Is there a message you want your listeners to take away from your music?
We're trying very hard. I mean, we're trying to execute our craft. We're trying to tell a story. We're trying to keep it fresh. I think the major thing of being in this business and doing record showcases and all that kind of stuff, it all comes down to the song. That's number one important thing, and that's the way we approach everything. So I think the more you listen to our material, the more you'll start hearing, wow, that's only coming out of the left speaker there. Or that was coming out of the left speaker on the first verse, and now it's coming out of the right speaker on the second verse. All that is telegraphed. Nothing's by accident. It's all thought out. It's very almost like how Rush would approach something. Like the guys are dialed into it's crazy. We ain't that crazy or musicianship but the thought process is as crazy as them. Yeah. So everything's done for a reason. And I think we would want people to know that we really care about what we're putting out. We ain't just putting out any old slop. We're really spending the money on studio time, rehearsing, having band meetings about the simplest little things. We're really trying to put out a quality product.
Yeah. And again, in the end, when we're watching your videos or listening to your singles, you can hear it, you can see it. It's all there. Somebody's taken the time from the beginning to the end, especially in the videos, because I love listening to the songs, but sometimes when you have a video to go with that song, and then where you take your videos, that step up that you take those videos to, it's important. And I think that finished product says, so much about Seems Like Tuesday.
Well, thank you. I think one of the biggest compliments I ever got was from Juice. My friend Chris, we call him Juice, but he's like a heavier guy. So he listens to almost death music, like Cookie Monster kind of stuff. So he comes up and he goes, listen to me, man. He goes, that ain't my style of music, man. I want you to play in a heavier band and do the double bass and be like, He's like, but I gotta admit, you got really good songs and your band's good. He almost like reluctantly wanted to admit that he liked it, but he couldn't control because he's got a Slayer patch on the back of his jacket, So that was probably one of the coolest things. As long as we're executing on some level and people are getting something, they like Erica's voice, or they like my drum fill on this part, or they like this, even one song. As long as we're reaching somebody with something, then we feel like that we're accomplishing what we want to accomplish.
Who has been one of your biggest influencers on your music?
Everybody's different on that one.
That's good. Yeah, we all have.
I come from like the Journey, Led Zeppelin, Foreigner. That's where I sunk my teeth in as a kid. Music. I know Pete's definitely like a Sammy Hagar guy, Peter Frampton. Billy played in a lot of like heavy metal bands. I wouldn't say heavy metal, like, because that's like Judas Priest, but more of like a heavier, the hair sort of.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, sort of bands when he was on the scene. His songwriting is so eclectic. I mean, you hear a little country in his stuff, and so he's, I think, influenced by a lot more than even I know. And then Erica, comes from a whole complete different background.
Completely different.
Yeah. Well, tell your story.
So I'm like the Connie Francis era. Yeah, I grew up. My nan, my grandma, my dad's mom was a performer, and Patsy Cline, Etta James, Connie Fitz. Like that was my first concert.
She's an old
as a little girl.
Yeah, I love it though.
So that my dad always says, you grew up in the wrong era. And then after that, I got into like the R&B type of stuff, like the Whitney Houston, Mariah Carey. Then the 90s was different. That was like No Doubt, maybe a little bit of Britney Spears, but I just loved how she entertained.
Right.
And then as I got older, so really all different types of music, but my dad made sure that I definitely had the opportunity to experience Huey Lewis, Joan Jett, Pat Benatar. So a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
For sure.
Again, great music, great influences, both sides. And then the two of you collide and blend it all.
Yes.
Well, the covers we do play, we, obviously we have a female singer, so we're going to kind of try to go in that avenue. So we'll do Blondie, Janis Joplin, Joan Jett, Pat Benatar, the Runaways. Yeah. So anything that could, Melissa Etheridge, anything that could come out and showcase her vocals and styles.
Absolutely.
We do it,
Wow. I like that. So let me ask you a couple of questions about the music industry. Knowing what you know now about the music industry, would you still want a career in that field?
From a business point of view, absolutely not. From who I am, I feel that drumming is not what I do, it's who I am.
Okay.
So it's, I'm just following my heart and following what comes natural to me as a human being, and that's I gravitated to doing. Music and sports were always my thing. I actually approached the drums as like a sporting event. Like I come out and I want to score the goal. But no, the business is dirty.
It is.
And I've got kicked around, and I know probably some of the reason why we're at the level we are, because I could see bad news coming, and I'm like, I've been there, done that. That dude's shady. He's going to tell you whatever you want to hear, and then he's not going to come through, and then we're going to, or whatever. I know I guess we're in the tri-state area, right? We're East Coast tri-state. I know all the guys that are real and all the guys that aren't real. From the booking agent to the roadie to the light man. So I kind of been there, done that, and it makes me a little apprehensive. Yeah, the business is dirty. I wish it wasn't as cutthroat and you can actually put out material and make a living doing it. But now if you get signed, they're doing the 360 deal. You can't make any money. Like they're going to take you're not selling anymore. Okay, you're not selling records, you're selling streams, and you're making nothing off of the stream. Yeah. So they're going to come after your merchandise. They're going to come after if you have a song in a movie. They're going to come after anything that you're making money to recoup their money.
Right.
That's a huge problem, because at least a band would sell their soul to make it, but then they would be on tour and they would make the touring money and the merchandising money. Now you're not making that either. So it's like you're kind of selling your soul and financially going in the hole for fame. So if you want to be famous, you can be famous. You're just not going to make any money probably. And if you want to make money, then you got to do everything by yourself because then you ain't going to pay anybody back. So then you need some sort of capital to do it. It's way hard. It's very discouraging. And if I wasn't a lifer, I would have probably quit by now. But that's just who I like my hair long. I like playing drums. These are things that I like doing. So I stuck with it. But I'm not naive by any sense of the imagination. So, I guess it ties in what you said. Are you where you want to be? Technically, no, but I'm okay where I'm at because I'd rather not get used either.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or pimped out, that sort of.
It's a tough industry. And for the, somebody's just starting out, as an indie artist, not knowing anything, they really can get knocked down hard, or they lose their self-confidence really quick and just quit, because it's not for the faint-hearted to be an indie artist these days, and you have to be totally in or totally out, I think.
You're going to take everything you got to get to the next level, and then once you get to the next level, they're going to use that against you almost. So once you get up to that mountain, you realize that mountain ain't where you want to be anymore. Now you're on. My friend plays with this cover band, and he goes, I'm like, oh, dude, he's an original band too. I'm like, why are you playing in a cover band? He's like, well, you know what? They're having fun. They're not jaded yet. So he's having a good time. He's jaded, but they're not. So you know what I'm talking about, right? Yeah. So he's like, I'm just doing it because it's fun right now. But it's hard to keep it rolling. It really is. But again, if you got something worth saying and you got material that you want people to hear, you kind of endure the punishment and keep on moving. I mean, anything you do, you're going to get beat down, right?
Absolutely.
You get 4 brand new tires, you run over a nail that week. You couldn't roll over the nail the week before. You roll over it on a Michelin tire that cost me $350. So that's the way it works.
It is. So what advice would you give an indie artist starting out these days?
Be careful. Research everything everybody tells you, because I think everybody goes, oh, I know, the guys who used to walk the dog for Tommy Mottola and all that. Most of that stuff never pans out. Be cool to everybody on the way up, because you're going to meet them all the way on the way down too. That's the other thing. I think the biggest thing is do it for the right reasons. Do it because you love to do it. Do it because that's the way you express yourself. And if people like it, do it because you're happy. If everybody likes it, then that's cool. Don't sell out and try to follow a trend, because by the time you get to that trend, the trend already changed.
It's done. Yeah. It just happens so quickly.
So I guess it's the same thing like in love, I guess, like follow your heart, but keep your head on straight too.
Yeah.
Fine line there.
It's true, right?
Yeah.
You agree, Erica?
I do. So we actually have fellow musicians that reach out to us, either folks that are just getting started, folks that may be signing to a label that we're partnered with, really asking, how do you do it? How are you managing your schedule? Who's doing your social media? How are you getting on all these podcasts and all these radio stations? From soup to nuts, they want to know everything, because they see the post every day. You have to be dedicated to that. He will post once a day, because that is what you have to do.
We have 12 music videos. Not bragging. I'm just saying that's a lot of work.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
12 music videos. It's a matter of, I tell everybody, you gotta work. And I'll quote the Bon Jovi quote that I live by. Yeah. I heard him say one time, he's like, I'm not the best singer in the world. I'm not the best frontman in the world. He's like, but I'll outwork everyone.
There you go.
And that's like kind of, I'm just going to outwork you. I think if that's me losing sleep, if that's me, trying to fit a picture in again, so where nobody's head's cut off and I got to do it 52 times, I'm going to do whatever it takes to get us look as pro as we can. And network, following up. That's key.
That's a big
following up on everything.
Yep.
And it's hard. And I can sit here and say it's easy. It's a hard path to keep going, because you keep getting kicked down. Eventually you're like, whatever, dude. But my whole thing, and I always say this too. This is something I've said in every podcast or interview ever. I want to leave some sort of legacy. So if my great grandkid watches this and goes, wow, that's when Pop had long hair, that's kind of cool. Because I would love to see my great grandfather on one of these and see how he spoke, because I never met him, or whatever, or his aneurysms, or the way he talked with his kids or whatever. It would have probably been all Italianed out. I'll kill you. I would have got to know him a little bit better. So if
Sure.
it stays on YouTube when I'm dead for another 100 years or whatever, maybe somebody will look at this and go, wow, he knew what he was talking about or whatever.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, I agree on that. Did either one of you have a mentor in the beginning of your music career?
I mean, really, my voice coach, that was Rita Cavell. She had passed away a while ago, but I was with her for a very long time, and she kind of walked me through a lot of, I was on a steady show that was on every Saturday on Channel 6, which is a local channel here. She would help me with that. Our live shows, get me prepped. She would talk to my parents about certain things. And then, like Steve said, I've done showcases for like Atlantic Records and a few other record labels, and a lot of them fell through. So she would really just hold my hand and walk me through that, including my parents.
Wow.
So, I mean, I was young, but I loved her. She was amazing. Amazing.
That's real nice. Steve, what about you?
Well, I was playing clubs at 16. So I was
He was his own mentor.
I was a little kid. Like literally, I would stay upstairs and do my homework, and the guy would let me go downstairs. This was at the Galaxy in Somerdale. It's like a world famous, it's not there no more, but it was like a world famous club. And I would go down and I'd play the drums and I'd go back up and I would do my homework. And the things you see up in dressing rooms, who's doing drugs, who's
Wow.
girls up there. So I learned real quick on what to do and what not to do.
Okay.
So I'd say my mentoring was being that young kid playing in a club with guys who were 27, 28, 29 years old, and I'm 18 or 19 or whatever. I grew up playing. So,
right.
So that's I guess who mentored me. I learned what to do and what not to do.
It was on the job learning. On the job learning.
Yes. Yeah. Literally.
I remember one guy would be like, "Wow, what are you doing, little man?" And I'm like, "What?" He's like, "What's your dad playing tonight?" I'm like, "No, I'm playing." And I went down and I played
Killed it.
well enough for him to come up to me and goes, "Man, I can't believe that was you." Because all you could see is like this, over the drums. So he introduced me to everybody as like his like little brother. And that got me in knowing everyone and got me a little bit of clout. Yeah, I was the little kid.
Yeah, you grew up right from the get-go.
Yeah. And then once the guy knew I wasn't going to like party or like drink and stuff, he would let me go down, but I just couldn't go near the bar. So I graduated.
Yeah.
After between 16, 17, by the time I got 18, I was in the club a couple years, and he's like, "All right, you could come down. Don't go nowhere near the bar." I'm like, "All right, I'll stay over near the bathroom." I talk to people coming in and out of the bathroom.
Started with the bathroom at an early age.
Yeah. This all ties into the not clogging the toilet.
So this interview is going to air May 28th. What do you got booked after that day? What's going on next for you guys?
Yeah, so we have so many shows. I am so excited. For that, though, we have May 24th, we have the Collingswood Mayfair, which is huge, like thousands and thousands of people.
This is going to come on after.
I know, but I'm just
so you get totally
building it up. Yeah.
So that show was great. There was a ton of people there.
Yes. I could actually bring this up right now while I'm sitting here. After that, we have a gig at a casino in New York, Ring-Eyed Pete's at Vernon Downs Casino. 27th, we're at the Block at Harris, Philly. That's another casino. Beautiful venue. They just redid the entire venue. State-of-the-art sound system. I love it in there. We're down at the casino some more. Wally Lake Fest in August, which is huge. Oktoberfest. We have a lot of festivals coming up in the fall.
Oh, nice.
So we're just really getting out there.
So kind of New York, New Jersey area?
It's kind of like New York, Jersey, Philly,
Okay.
Those are our
in Delaware.
within, we'll drive. New York's a little bit away from here. Like one of them gigs is like 4 hours away.
Oh, wow. Upstate New York?
Yeah. So we'll play up there and we'll sleep over. But, that's pretty far. Yeah. So we try not to go too far out than that because you got to get home and you got to get ready to go to work the next day or whatever.
Are you guys New Jersey, Philly, Jersey?
So we're originally from South Philadelphia.
Okay.
So like basically Rocky Balboa, when he ran down the street, that's where we're from.
Okay.
Yeah. But we moved to Jersey, which is just literally a hop, skip right over the bridge and you're in Jersey. So we're about 15 minutes from where I was born and raised in South Philly.
Oh, cool.
But you could park over here. So that's why everybody moves to Jersey because you can't park in the city. Yeah. It's like I actually have a driveway now. It's like great. you know.
It's the little things.
It's the little things you
Absolutely.
pay so much more in taxes for, you know.
Yeah, awesome. All right. Well, you guys, you have, well, first, thank you so much for being a guest here on R2RB broadcast podcast series. I have enjoyed our conversation. You guys are the best.
That was fun.
Ditto. That was fun.
It was, and thank you. I've learned so much about the both of you and your band, and I know people will continue to follow you and like you, and well, let everybody know where they can find you. Let's go with that.
Yeah, absolutely. So Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube for our music videos. There's also obviously some live performances on there as well. All streaming platforms, Spotify, Amazon Music, iTunes, everything in between.
Yeah,
You
if
have-
you hit Seems Like Tuesday, we're the first thing that pops up. We're very lucky. It's
You
not
know-
a movie, it's not a song, it will come right.
It's you guys.
Yeah.
Do you have a website?
So seemsliketuesday.com.
It is. Okay. All right, cool. And they can find your schedule and everything right there, right?
Absolutely.
Yep.
Okay. Awesome. Well, guys, again, thank you so much. You guys are a lot of fun, a lot of energy. I wish you all the best with everything that you have going on, and just keep killing it.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Deb.
It
We
was fun.
appreciate it.
Oh, you're welcome.